My boss called me into his office and said, "This is your last day here." I walked into Mr. Thompson's office at 3 p.m. on Friday, my hands shaking because I'd been late 3 times this month. He looked serious, more serious than I'd ever seen him. "Close the door and sit down," he said without looking up from his computer. My stomach dropped. This was it. I was getting fired from my first real job after college, and I'd have to move back in with my parents. "This is your last day here," he said, finally meeting my eyes. I felt like I was going to throw up. I immediately started apologizing. "Mr. Thompson, I know I've been late, but I can explain. My car broke down twice, and then my alarm didn't go off that one morning. I promise it won't happen again. I need this job. I'll do better. I swear." But he held up his hand to stop me and looked completely confused. "What are you apologizing for?" he asked, tilting his head. "I'm not following. Why would you need to do better?" I stared at him, wondering if he was being sarcastic or if I'd misheard something. Then he slid a thick contract across his desk and smiled for the first time all week. "It's your last day as an intern," he said, his whole demeanor changing. "You're getting promoted to full-time marketing manager starting Monday morning. The executive team was impressed with your campaign ideas, especially that social media strategy you presented last month. We've been planning this for weeks." I just sat there with my mouth open, trying to process what he was saying. "You thought you were in trouble?" He laughed. "Kid, you're the best intern we've had in 5 years." But then his expression got serious again, and I felt that familiar panic creeping back. "There is one thing we need to discuss, though," he said, opening a folder on his desk. "The Johnson account situation from last week." My blood went cold. I'd made a mistake on their quarterly report that could have cost the company thousands of dollars, and I thought I'd covered it up well enough that nobody noticed. "I know about the numbers you changed," he said quietly. "We need to talk about that before you sign this contract." I was convinced my promotion was about to disappear. I started tearing up and began explaining why I deserved a second chance, how I'd learned from my mistake and would never do anything like that again. "I was scared to tell anyone because I thought you'd fire me," I said. "I know I should have been honest from the beginning." Mr. Thompson looked completely baffled and said, "Why are you crying? I'm not upset about the Johnson account. You caught a major error in their previous reports that would have led to a lawsuit. When you changed those numbers, you were actually fixing a mistake our senior accountant had made months ago. The client called to thank us personally, but then he pulled out another folder, this one much thicker. However, there's something else we discovered during your background check for the promotion." My heart stopped. I watched him flip through pages of documents, and I could see my college transcripts, employment history, even what looked like bank statements. "We found some discrepancies in your application that we need to address." I felt the room spinning. Had I lied about something on my resume? "Your references don't match up," he said slowly, "and your previous work experience seems inconsistent." I was about to confess to whatever he thought I'd done when he started laughing. "Turns out your old boss at the coffee shop has been telling everyone you were the worst employee he ever had. But when we called him directly, he said you were actually his assistant manager, and he was devastated when you left for college. Apparently he's been bad-mouthing you to other employers because he wanted you to come back and work for him again." He handed me the contract and a pen, plus a key card for the executive floor. "Welcome to management, kid."